just going to be looking at how well our body moves. We're kind of still thinking about our core, but we're looking at how well we can twist, how well we can side bend, and how well we can stabilise to move other body parts. So just stand with your feet about hip width apart first. And back your weight up through your heels. Let's find that neutral pelvis, so we're not tucking under or tilting forwards, it's just nice and relaxed, or it should be. Ribs are relaxed and down. We're nice and wide through our chest and shoulders, arms are down by our sides. And we're going to take it into a little side bend here. So just really gentle, really easily, just take your weight over to one side, take your upper body over to one side, and then just gently bring it back up. Now let's try the other side, so just going over and coming back up. And we're going to do this a few times, so we're just playing around with this movement. Noticing how it feels. So obviously as we go over on one side, we're shortening one side of the waist, lengthening through the other side. Let's take our arms up overhead this time. So arms come up and overhead. They can just stay nice and wide here as you take it over into a side bend. And come up and take it over to the other side. Trying to keep your ribs down, so if you need to bring those arms forward to get those ribs down a little bit, that's fine. And again, we're just noticing that sensation of lengthening through one side of the waist and shortening through the other. And then as you come back up this time, let's take our arms out to a T position. Palms can face up or down, it doesn't really matter here, but what we're going to do is we're going to reach to one side. And then we're going to come through centre and we're going to reach to the other side. And we're going to do this reach to each side. And see if you can keep your pelvis nice and still. So as you reach, don't kind of take your whole body. Can you keep your pelvis where it is? And as you do the reach, you're again shifting at your waist, but it's a rib cage slide to one side. And then slide to the other side. So this is one of those missing movements that we don't really realise is missing because you don't really do this very often, do you? But the ability to rib cage, shift and slide. And then just lowering your arms down for a moment there, just give your shoulders a little roll and turn your head side to side. We're going to go back to our side bend now. If you do have a wall near you, it's really useful to back yourself up against the wall. If you don't have one, it doesn't matter, you can try this maybe later on. But if you've got a wall, you're going to just step your feet a little bit away. You have the back of your pelvis against the wall, back of your rib cage against the wall, and we're going to just side bend again. So if you're just standing free, that's fine, just do your side bend again. But what I want you to notice this time, as you side bend, are you leaning forwards? So the wall is really useful because you can feel that you've got your rib cage and your pelvis against the wall. But are you leaning forwards? And then let's take the arms up overhead again and just do a couple of little side bends here. Again, just noticing whether you're leaning forwards. Can you keep those ribs relaxed and down? And if you're against a wall and as soon as your arms have gone up, you've lost the rib cage, bring your arms forwards just enough to get the ribs down and do your side bend there. So the wall is just giving you feedback about your alignment and how well you're moving. So like I said, if you don't have a wall, you can absolutely do it here. Stay with that little side bend. As you take it over, notice whether your hips shift to one side. Can you keep those hips where they are as you do your side bend here? So we're keeping our pelvis anchored and we're side bending. Alright, and then as you come up this time, just release your arms again. Give your shoulders a little circle and just gently turn your head side to side. Step your feet a little bit wider than hip width now. And we're going to do our forward fold. So keep your legs straight and then hinge forwards at your hips. And you can brace, you can put your hands on your thighs here. Keep those legs straight. Keep sticking your bottom out behind you. And we're finding length and space down the back of the leg here. Now you can choose if you want to keep your hands on your legs here, you want to keep that flat back, or you feel like you could round down and let your spine just round forwards. And we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. And this is going to be our reset position. So if at any point you want to just have a stretch, you want to come out of it, find either this forward fold you know, braced flat back or rounded all of the way down. All right. Keeping those legs as straight as you can, it's giving us that stretch, it's giving us that length, and when you're ready, let's just slowly come on up and out of that. Bringing your legs back into hip width apart now. Now I want you to twist your body, twist any parts, all parts, to look all the way behind you. Can you kind of look 180 degrees behind you? And then gently coming back forwards again. Let's try the other side. Can you twist? So allow your ankles to twist, your knees to bend maybe, your pelvis to twist, your rib cage to twist, your head to twist, and look all the way behind you. Let's come back through again. Let's go back to the first side. Again, just allowing your whole body to twist, to look behind. Hold in there. Just hold for a couple of breaths. And then let's go again to the other side. So we're trying to twist everything. Good. And then come back in through centre. So if you don't have a lot of mobility through your waist, you'll find that you're twisting other parts even more. So we're going to kind of real force it at the waist this time, and we're going to stabilise our pelvis. So pelvis and lower body's not going to shift at all. And again, we're going to twist to look as far behind us as we can. So think about twisting through your waist, rib cage is twisting, shoulders are twisting, head is twisting, and just look as far as you can. Hold there. And then coming back through centre and do the same on the other side. So waist, ribs, shoulders, head, and just hold for a couple of breaths there. Come back in. Let's go back to our first side again. Pelvis is nice and still, so we're really getting that waist to twist. And we're thinking about the waist, the ribs, the shoulders, the head. So holding in this twist position here. Now I want you to, and you're not going to move very much, but can you imagine that you're twisting your pelvis in the opposite direction? So our upper body's twisting one way, and imagine that you can twist your pelvis the opposite way, and that's going to wring out even more twist through that waist. Just hold there. And then come back through centre. And let's go to the other side. So again, pelvis, lower body stays still. Waist, ribs, shoulders, head. Once you're twisted as far as you can, again, we're going to hold here for a couple of breaths. And we're going to imagine again that we can twist our pelvis in the opposite direction to really wring out that twist. And get as much movement there as we can. And then when you're ready, just come back in through centre. We're going to do that little reset, that little forward fold again, so stepping your legs wide. And then again, folding forwards, either choosing to brace and hold in that flat back position or round all the way down. We're going to just take some deep breaths here. Just see how it feels for you. Trying to keep your legs straight. And then staying down, can you maybe take your feet a little bit wider? So kind of take them as wide as you can. And then either having your hands on your legs or hands on the floor, whichever feels better for you. We're going to take one arm out to the side into that kind of T position. And then we're going to twist to take that arm up towards the sky. So we're going to have either one hand on our leg or one hand on the floor, and the other hand we're going to take towards the sky, and we're going to twist our body to look towards that hand. I'm going to hold there for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to bring that hand back down. So again, it's either going to come to your leg or to the floor. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So the other arm's going to go out, and then we're going to twist. And you're only going as far as feels okay for you. And when you're ready, we're going to come back in. We're going to go to the other side again. So again, hand either on your leg or on the floor, out to the side first, and then twisting. Couple of breaths. And if you didn't like your hand on your leg or the floor, you can always get a chair or something in front of you to give you that little bit more support. And then bringing that hand down. Same on the other side, arm reaches out to the side first, and then we're going to twist and look up towards the ceiling. job. When you're ready, bring that hand back down. We're going to come on up and out of that, so nice and safely, come on up and out. Walk your feet in a little bit, and let's just do a little hip shift once you're up there. Just give your hips a little shift side to side. Bring your feet back into hip distance, and let's just maybe do a little ragdoll loose twist, just to free off any tension. Okay, so we're going to stay standing, and we're going to interlace our fingers in front of us now. So palms are going to face towards you, hands are at shoulder height, and your thumbs are up. And then I want you to imagine that you're pulling your hands apart. You're not going to pull them apart, but pull as though you're going to bring them apart here. And then let's drop our head. So drop your chin towards your chest and keep pulling those hands apart. And it might feel like a big stretch down your neck, your upper back, your shoulders maybe. Let's take some deep breaths and hold here. Alright, and then gently release. Take your hands behind, interlace your hands behind your back. Palms going to face up this time. And same thing here, you're going to pull your hands apart like you're trying to pull them apart, but they're not going to come apart. And take some deep breaths here. And let's do the head hang. Drop your chin towards your chest, looking down towards the floor. Keep pulling as though you're pulling those fingers apart. Notice the position of your shoulder blades here. So now the arms are behind our back and we're pulling in this direction. Your shoulder blades are probably really quite close together. Maybe squeeze them even closer together. And then release. Just give everything a little shake. Whatever you need to do just to release that. We're going to give ourselves a little hug now. One arm on top of the other. Notice which hand's on top. As you bring your hands around, as far around as you can. See if you can find that inside edge of your shoulder blade maybe. And we're going to hold here. Maybe just gently move your head around. So maybe doing some little head turns or head tilts. Just freeing off your neck. A little bit of movement here while we stretch through our shoulders and upper back. And then maybe moving your hands down slightly, so we've still got that hug, but then just a little bit more down. Maybe you can feel your rib cage, holding onto your rib cage here. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. This time let's do a tilt, so tilt your ear down towards one shoulder. And let's come up and tilt to the other side. Bring your head back in through centre. Keeping your ribs down, but can you lift your elbows a little higher? Notice if all of your weights come forwards. Keep your weight back through your heels. Elbows are lifted, ribs are dropped. A couple of breaths there. Now that might feel like quite a big stretch again through your shoulders and your upper back. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to release those arms. Remember which one's on top? We need to make sure we switch sides. Give your arms a swing. Let's do the other side. So hug the other way. Other arm on top. Bring those hands as far around as you can. Kind of walk them as far around as you can. See if again you can maybe come all the way around to find that inside edge of your shoulder blade. It will just really depend on how much tension you've got through your shoulders. And again, let's just gently move our head around, maybe do some little head turns. Just move it around, see how it feels. Keep taking those deep breaths. The more we can take those deep breaths, the more our body's going to relax and release tightness and tension, allowing us more freedom of movement. And then moving your hands again down slightly, so they're not kind of on your shoulder blades, they're more on your rib cage now. And let's again do our head tilt, so dropping one ear down towards one shoulder. Couple of breaths. Head comes up over to the other side. Again, head comes up, lifting those elbows, ribs stay down. Couple of breaths here. Alright, let it go, and again just swing. Oh, it feels like there's so much more space and freedom through your chest and your shoulders after doing that. Alright, let's come back to our side bend again. Let's do it without arms again this time. So taking it over to one side, just kind of go as far as you can and hold it there. Notice if you have that tendency to want to shift your hips to one side. Try and keep your hips still as you take it over. Let's hold for a breath, and as you exhale, see if you can maybe go just that little bit further, getting a little bit more space, a little bit more stretch. When you're ready, come back up, and let's go over to the other side. Take it over into your side bend again. Hold in here. Watching to notice whether your hips have shifted. We're going to try and keep the hips where they are. And as you exhale, see if you can just take it over that little bit further, just getting that little bit more space. When you're ready, let's come back up. Let's take the arms up and overhead this time. So inhale, grow as tall as you can. Exhale, take it over into that side bend. Hips stay where they are. Hold in here for a breath in, and as you exhale, see if you can take it maybe just that little bit further. Keep the ribs down. When you're ready, let's come back up through centre. Grow tall as you inhale. Exhale, take it over. Hold in here. And again, with each exhale, see if you can just take it that little bit further. A little bit more space. And when you're ready, bring those arms back up towards the ceiling. And let's take those arms out to that T position again. And we're going to do that rib cage shift. Shift the rib cage to one side as you reach. Shift the rib cage to the other side as you reach. And let's just go side to side. Again, here trying to keep your pelvis still. Shift again. You can do this against the wall. It's really nice for just kind of freeing everything up. So this, if you have a lot of tension and tightness in your lower back, this is a really nice way to kind of stretch it out and to release it by keeping the pelvis still and just doing this little shift side to side. All right, as you come in this time, lowering your arms down, give your shoulders a little twist, a little move around, whatever you need to do. We're going to do that whole body twist again where we're allowing everything to go. So go as far as you can one way. Again, letting your elbows, your knees, your hips, your waist, your rib cage, your shoulders, your head, everything to twist. And then just hold in there. When you're ready, come back through centre. Do the same on the other side. Allowing everything to twist. And hold in there. Because we do want everything to move, but we want everything to move. We just don't want some parts to move and not others. Putting strain and making some parts do more work than they are designed to do. Let's do one more to each side. Really pay attention to your ribs. If you're a rib thruster, as you start to twist, watch for that tendency to want to kind of roll and lift your ribs up. So keep the ribs down. Especially if you do notice tightness in your lower back, always suspect those ribs. And then when you're ready, let's go to the other side. Do you feel like you've been wrung out like a dishcloth yet? We're going to stabilise the pelvis and just twist the upper body this time, so nothing shifts in the lower body. Let's again go from our waist. So waist is going to go first, then rib cage, then shoulders, then head. What about eyes? Even making your eyes go, so we twist it as far as we can. Remember how we started to twist the pelvis in the opposite direction to give us even more? See if you can find that here and just hold for a couple of breaths. If your shoulders are up around your ears, can you drop the shoulders? We don't need the shoulders up. They can be down. When you're ready, come back through centre. Let's do the same on the other side. Lower body stays still. Waist goes first. Think about your belly button. Lead with your belly button. Then the ribs. Then the shoulders. And the head and neck and the eyes. Keeping those ribs down. Holding here for a couple of breaths. Can you again think about twisting your pelvis the opposite direction? Good job. When you're ready, come all the way back in. We're going to interlace again, but this time instead of interlacing as you would normally, kind of move one finger along. So it's going to feel wrong. Move one finger along, thumbs pointing up, palms are facing towards you and reaching those arms away. This time we're going to have a soft elbow, so slightly bend your elbow and then reach the elbows away. So you're not just reaching the hands away, you're reaching from your elbow. You're reaching the elbows away. And let's again add that pulling the hands apart. So pulling your hands apart, elbows are reaching away, soft bend. Can you drop your head here as well? Adding that head hang. So again, this might show you some tightness through the back of the neck, through the shoulders, the upper back. Keep pulling the hands apart, soft elbows, head hang. Oh, and breathe. Don't forget that bit. That's probably the most important part. Couple of deep breaths. Notice here the position of your shoulder blades. They're probably quite wide. And then when you're ready, release the hands. Give your shoulders a little roll. Going behind. So again, we want to have them that wrong way. So you just like moved your finger up one finger. Palms are facing up, hands are behind you. And let's have again soft elbow here, so tiny micro bend in your elbow. And then pull the hands apart. Notice if your shoulders want to come up. Try and keep your shoulders down. And we're trying to pull those hands apart. Keeping that little bend in the elbow. Let's have the head hang again here. Watch for your shoulders, trying to sneak up to your ears. Try and keep those shoulders down. Noticing again the position of your shoulder blades, they're squeezing in towards each other here. And then when you're ready, bring your head up and just release those arms down. Nice soft floppy arms, and let's do some shoulder rolls here. Good job. And then let's reverse that and go the other way. And then bring your arms out in front. I want you to push your hands as far away from you as you can, and think about those shoulder blades. They're going to go wide and they're going to come out kind of around the sides a little bit. And then we're going to plug the arm back into the shoulder socket and feel those shoulder blades go narrow towards each other. It's your rhomboid push-up here, but in this standing position. So shoulder blades are going to go wide as you push your hands away, and then shoulder blades are going to narrow as you draw the shoulder blades back in towards each other. Just have a little play with that here, and it feels completely different to when we do it on all fours. So have a little play here, get a bit of movement through your shoulders and your upper back. Good job, and then release your hands down. Again, little shoulder roll, little head turn, maybe do your little ragdoll twist again here, just to make sure that you aren't holding a lot of tension. Okay, we're going to come down onto the floor. We're going to come down onto all fours now. So when you're ready, come on down and squeeze and press the shoulder blades. So like we just did standing, but we're doing it on all fours now. Get as much movement here as you can. Notice if your shoulders are coming up to your ears. Can you think about drawing your armpits down towards your waist? So there's a lot more activation now down our sides, down our back. Nice. And then just holding in centre here, can you let your spine just relax down here? So it's almost like a little squeeze of the shoulder blades. We're going to let our chest drop. We're going to let everything kind of just relax and just hang here. If you feel like you're all kind of bunched up, you can walk your knees back a little bit to just kind of give you a little bit more space. Let your head hang as well. And just hold here for a couple of breaths. And then if you've walked your knees back, just bring the knees back. And let's just do a couple more of those little rhomboid push-ups here. Shoulder blades squeeze and then press. Squeeze and then press. Good job. And And then we're going to come down onto our elbows now. So elbows come down onto the floor. And then walk your elbows a little bit further forwards. So you're kind of leaning onto those arms, you're reaching those arms forward, and you're going to pull your bottom back in the opposite direction. And if your head will reach the floor, you can rest your forehead down, or you can just hover. Imagine you're pushing your elbows and your hands forward, you're pulling your bottom back in the opposite direction. And let's take a few breaths here. So it's a nice stretch for your shoulders and your upper back. And then when you're ready, we're going to come on up and we're going to come on out of that. So we're going to go over onto our back for the log pullover now. So grab your half dome or your block or cushion, whatever you've got, and then lay yourself down onto your back. So whatever you're holding, we're going to take it up towards the ceiling. We're going to have our knees bent and our feet flat. And just holding whatever you've got kind of directly above your chest. And then bring your shoulders up towards your ears. So the thing I tell you never to do, bring your shoulders up towards your ears so you can kind of feel how tight and short and compressed and horrible everything is. And then you're going to draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Find that armpits down towards waist connection here. And then we're going to keep those shoulders down. Let's have a little soft bend of the elbow, and elbows are drawing in towards each other. When you're ready, we're going to take our arms overhead and then bringing them back up towards the ceiling. Doesn't need to be a big move, you can make this super small. So finding that connection, armpits drawing down to waist, we want to keep that the whole time. So that might mean that your arms don't go over maybe as far as perhaps they have done in the past, and that's okay. Elbows keep drawing in towards each other, don't let them flare out to the sides. As your arms come back up towards the ceiling this time, just release your arms down for a moment and then lengthen your legs out long on the floor. So you can have your legs squeezing together, you can have them hip width, you can let them roll out, whatever works for you. If it bothers your lower back, having the legs out long, just go back to bent knees. I'm going to do the same again. Arms up towards the ceiling, pulling your armpits down towards your waist, so we're engaging those lats. And we're going to soften the elbows and draw the elbows in towards each other. When you're ready, again take the arms overhead and then come back up. It's a real core exercise. You're really keeping that rib cage anchored. Nice. You really don't have to do that many of those to really find that work. But we're going to do one more time. And as your arms come back up towards the ceiling this time, get rid of whatever you were using. Bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. So just rolling out your lower back here. Let's just give our lower back a little bit of attention. And then from here, bring your feet back down onto the floor. Pressing into your feet and just lift your hips up and shift them to your right, just a couple of inches. Straighten out your left leg and bring your right leg into tabletop. Rolling all the way over to bring that right knee down to the floor. So you're rolling onto your left side so the right knee comes down and right knee's going to anchor down on the floor. We're going to do a windmill here. So your left arm can come around to cradle your head, or your bottom arm can cradle your head. And we're going to take that top arm up towards the ceiling, spreading your fingers wide. Okay, taking your arm overhead, bringing your thumb down towards the floor and then back up towards the ceiling again. Ribs are going to stay super still, so notice as the arm goes overhead if that rib cage is lifting, and try and keep the rib cage still. So if overhead is 12 o'clock, We're going to take the arm up towards the ceiling this time, and then we're going to take that arm back behind us. You can allow your upper body to twist, but keep your knee down on the floor and take that arm back, and it's kind of at, where are we, 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock? And then we're going to just do that little arc between 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock. You know, I'm not very good with my left and my rights and my which arm's going where. So we're just playing around with this movement here. We're still keeping the ribs down. Really nice for your upper arm, your chest, your shoulders. Also, we've got that twist through our waist. And then when you're ready, just gently bringing that arm back up towards the ceiling and just releasing that arm all the way down. Roll yourself onto your back. Let's just do a little reset for our back before we do the other side. So bring your knees to your chest and just gently roll side to side here. And then when you're ready, we're going to do the same on the other side. So bring your feet back down onto the floor. Lift your hips and shift your hips over to your left a couple of inches this time. Straighten out your right leg. Left leg comes to tabletop, and you're going to roll all the way over to bring that left leg down to the floor. Cradling your head with your right arm and keeping that knee down on the floor. We're going to take our left arm up towards the ceiling. Spread your fingers wide and take your arm overhead. Let's find 12 o'clock on this side. Again, just being mindful that the rib cage stays still and that it's just the arm moving. Uncoupling tension and tightness so that we are free to move without our whole body having to move. And the reason why I'm doing a lot of shoulder stuff is that if there's so much tension and tightness and every time you move your arms, your rib cage is being pulled with it, then you're never going to be able to access and move your core very well. As you take your arm up towards the ceiling this time, let's take it back behind us again, allowing your upper body to twist as long as the knee stays down. And let's play around with that little arc there, 12 o'clock. And either 9 or 3 o'clock here. So yeah, we're uncoupling, we're breaking up that tension to allow our arms and shoulders to be able to move freely so that it's not constantly pulling on your core. If your ribs are constantly lifting every time your arms are lifting, you're unable to access and use your core very well. So it's really important that we do move everything, everything's connected. Oh, so good, it feels really good, this. And obviously, you can come back and do these movements and hang out here for as long as you like, whenever you like. When you're ready, bring that arm back up towards the ceiling and gently release that arm all the way down. And roll yourself onto your back. And again, just that little knee hug, a little reset as you rock gently side to side. Releasing your feet back down onto the floor. We're going to take it into those windscreen wipers this time. So take your feet wide to the edges of your mat and then allow both knees to roll to one side, and maybe your head wants to go the opposite way. When you're ready, knees come in through centre and over to the other side. I like my arms in that T position, opening out the chest and shoulders. You can place your arms wherever feels just right for you. As we go gently side to side. And then as you come in through centre this time, we're going to come up and we're going to go back onto all fours again. So take your time, but come back up and find that all fours position. And fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other. And then just let your arm be where it wants to be. So I know I always say elbow pits forwards, but just kind of let it be where it would be if you weren't thinking about elbow pits. And then can you lift one arm? So just lift one hand off the floor, lift one arm off the floor, and then place it down and do the other side. So let's just do little pedals here a couple of times. And while you're kind of doing this pedaling here, noticing
where the work is, and it's in your shoulders. You're probably noticing it's mostly in your shoulders, your hands, your wrists. Okay, and then hold it there. So wherever your arms are, just hold, and then just do that little bend and notice where your elbows have gone. Is it making them kind of bulldog, or the elbows wanting to bend out to the side? Or are you so well trained now that the elbows do bend behind you? Okay, so we're going to soften our elbows a little bit. So let your elbows have a little micro bend. And I want you to draw the elbows in towards each other, which is the same thing really as elbow pits forwards. So draw those elbows in, elbows are retracted and pulling in towards each other. And now we're going to twist our upper body to lift one hand off the floor. So it's a little lift of the hand and a kind of a twist through the rib cage, and then place that hand down, elbows drawing towards each other again, and do the other side. So we're lifting the arm by twisting this time, and we'll keep drawing the elbows in towards each other, and noticing now where the work is. And you probably find that your abdominals are working as well. Obviously shoulders, hands, everything's still working. But by drawing the elbows in and kind of lifting the arm by twisting the whole body, it's a more whole body exercise. It's more work. More shoulder strength. Alright, and then when you're ready, go back into child's pose this time. Take your bottom back towards your heels, reach your arms forwards and just relax your body down. Let's just hold here and take a couple of deep breaths. Stay in a child's pose. Walk your hands as far to one side as you can and then hold it there. Finding that length and that space down one side of your body. So it's a little bit like a side bend. We've got one side of the waist is shortened, one side is lengthened. And using our breath here to give even more stretch down that lengthened side. As your ribcage expands, you can feel even more stretch, even more space. When you're ready, walk your hands back in through centre and take them over to the other side. Same thing, walk your hands over as far as you can and hold here and take those deep breaths. Again, one side of the waist now shortened, the other side lengthened, and using your breath to create even more space. So our waist tends to get very short and tight and compressed through time, just through sitting and just the way that we use our body. So this is a really nice way to give us more space. Because for a core to work effectively, it's got to have space. If it's all compressed and tight, it's not going to work, is it? Bring your hands back in through centre. And we're going to come back up onto all fours, spread wide. Thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. Okay, so elbow pits are forwards, and also elbows are drawn in towards each other. Same thing, but it might just feel different if you think about drawing the elbows in. Keeping this nice stable position, can you lift one hand? So we're not going to twist this time, we're actually just going to lift one hand off the floor. And then place that hand down. Again, elbows drawn in towards each other, elbow pits are forwards, and lift the other hand off the floor. And we're just going to play with this a little bit, lifting one hand at a time. Again, can you find that work in your abdominals? Do you find that your abdominals are kicking in? If you're a rib thruster, just check in that the ribs aren't pushing down towards the floor. Make sure those ribs are kind of drawn into your body. As you place your hand down this time, let's do a couple of little rhomboid push-ups here. So shoulder blades squeeze and then press wide. Shoulder blades squeeze and press wide. Squeeze. As you press them wide this time, we're going to hold them in that wide position. So holding wide. Again, elbows drawing in towards each other. Can you keep here as you lift one hand at a time? Can you keep those shoulder blades super wide as you lift one hand at a time? Alright, last one. And then we're going to come on off our hands. Just find a seated position for a moment. And we're going to just do a little wrist squeeze. So just squeeze and release. We're going to do hands. We're going to do wrists. And all the way up to your elbow. And it's just a nice little release for you. It's like a little mini massage, isn't it? Squeeze and release. wherever feels good to you. So it's that compression and then that release, and it just allows everything to relax a little bit. Do the other side when you're ready. Again, hand, wrist, forearm, squeeze and release. Oh, I found a real tender little spot there. I'll have to do some work on that later. So just noticing, if you notice again any little points of tightness and tension, it might be something that you want to come back to later on and give it a little bit more attention. And then let's take it into reverse prayer hands. So bringing the backs of your hands together, get the thumbs to touch and then pull the thumbs away from the rest of your fingers. Keeping the backs of the hands together as you lower your hands down. Trying to bring your forearms kind of level with your elbows, parallel to the floor. And then notice where your shoulders are. Can you relax your shoulders down? And just hold here. And maybe it feels nice to shift those arms side to side. You can keep them still if you prefer. It might feel nice to shift them side to side. And then gently, gently release. Give them a wriggle. We're going to make fists now, so make little fists and then use your thumb to kind of come over the top and press onto your first finger. So I'm kind of pressing my thumb into my first finger. And then we're going to bring our knuckles together. And then we're going to bring the backs of the hands and the wrists together. And then see if you can keep the backs of the hands together as you drop your elbows slightly. Have you lost your thumb pressing down on that first finger? Keep that. That's kind of the nasty bit, but also the bit that works the magic. And then see where those elbows are. Woo. That really gets into all of the tight spots, doesn't it? All right, we're going to gently, gently release. Release. Wriggle. Do thumbs up. Show me thumbs up. And then use your other hand to grab your thumb and move it around. We're going to do side to side, like little joystick thumb, side to side, forwards and backwards, maybe little circles, just moving it all around. Maybe go the other way. And then the fleshy bit between your thumb and your first finger, we're going to press our thumb and the knuckle of our first finger, the other side, in and give that a little bit of massage in there. Just give that a little bit of attention. We often have tension in our hands, which can affect our elbows, our shoulders, our neck, everything. So it's really nice to kind of do hands as well. Thumbs up. Use your other hand again to grab your thumb. Try and get right at the base of your thumb. Kind of make sure you get right at the base and move it around again. Maybe side to side, front to back, circles. Just see what it feels like. And then again, when you're ready, find that little fleshy bit between thumb and first finger and just give that a little bit of attention too. We're going to come back down onto our front now. We're going to come down onto our front now. So when you're ready, come on down. And we're going to have our hands in that stop position. So when you're ready, find yourself here. Your head can be hovering off the floor, or you can have your forehead resting down. Pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked, and legs are either together or hip width apart. So we're going to keep our upper body really relaxed here. Think about drawing your armpits again down towards your waist so that your shoulders are down. And we're just going to pick the head up, and we're just going to keep the head looking down at the floor, but lift the back of the head towards the sky. And then just lower it back down again. And we're going to do this a few times. So eyes are going to stay looking down, but we're just lifting the head away from the floor and then lowering back down. One more like this. And then just lowering down and holding there. Now, if you're a rib thruster, like me, this time I want you to really pay attention to what's happening with your ribs. So, as you lift the head away from the floor, are you pushing the ribs down into the floor?
Can you draw your ribs and more into your body, like they're just levitating off the floor? And then lowering your head down. We're going to see if we can maybe come up a little bit higher. So when you're ready, you're going to lift your head, push into your hands, push into your elbows. Can you lift your chest a little bit higher? Head's still going to look down, and then we're going to lower back down. You're only going as far as feels okay for you. So keep those shoulders away from your ears, and we're lifting, we're keeping the ribs drawn in, and we're lowering down. So let's just do a couple more like this. One more. And as you lower down this time, we're going to push ourselves up and back into child's pose. Take your bottom back towards your heels and just rest there. Allow your body to just relax down. Good job. All right, we're going to come back onto all fours, but we're going to be on our elbows and knees this time. So come down onto your elbows. And we're going to do thread the needle, but we're going to do it on our elbows. So the hand that's going to stay down is going to be your stable arm. We're going to just take it out to the side, just a couple of inches to give you a little bit more space. And then the other arm is going to thread behind that elbow and twist around, bringing your shoulder and your ear down towards the floor. Reaching that arm through. We're going to just hold here for a few breaths. Keep reaching that arm through, see if you can get it through any further. Notice if your pelvis is twisting or shifting, or try and keep your pelvis still. So again, we're getting that twist through our waist, through our rib cage, through our shoulders. 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back through and do the same on the other side. So again, you're stable, you're supporting on, just take it out a little bit wider to give you more space, and then thread through on your other side. Again, you can let your head and your shoulder come down to the floor if that feels okay. Reaching that arm through, holding here, taking some deep breaths. Nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up, and then we're going to go back into child's pose again, sinking your bottom down towards your heels, reaching those arms forwards. We're going to go back over onto our back again now, so when you're ready, come back over onto your back. We're going to do our spine twist. So we're going to take our arms out to that T position. Palms are facing up and feet and knees together. And we're going to just roll our knees gently to one side. Coming back up through centre and over to the other side. Let's see if we can keep the back of our rib cage and our shoulder blades anchored on the floor. So again, we're getting that real good twist through our waist. Now this time as you roll your knees to the side, let them keep going. Let your body kind of roll onto your side if you need to bring those knees all the way to the floor. We're going to keep those knees down on the floor, and then we're going to see if we can start to roll our upper body back towards shoulder blades on the floor. They may not come all the way down, and that's absolutely fine. Finding that T position again here, but knees are going to stay down this time. Take some deep breaths. Check in with the ribs, making sure that we're not arching the back and flaring the ribs. Ribs want to stay down. Check in with your jaw here. Make sure that you aren't clenching your teeth. Let your jaw relax, let your face relax. Neck and shoulders can be super relaxed. And we're just going to take some deep breaths. Trying to keep those knees down on the floor. They're super sneaky, and I'll want to start lifting to try and bring that shoulder down.
then when you're ready, let's bring that arm kind of back up so that we're back onto our side again before we do the other side. Roll onto your back. And then just roll your knees to the other side. So again, knees are going to come all the way down to the floor, might roll you onto your side. And we're going to start to open out our upper body back to try and find that T position again. Knees stay down. And notice if it's different this side to the other side. So maybe on one side you felt like you were closer to the floor. Maybe one side just felt easier. Take some deep breaths. Again, try to find that softness through your face, your jaw, your neck and shoulders. Good. And then when you're ready, kind of just roll back onto your side again, just to come out of it. It's a nice way to release. Roll yourself onto your back, and then bring your knees into your chest. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. We're going to come up to seated, so take your time, but when you're ready, just come on up and find that seated position, or I'm going to show you the seated position actually. We're going to have one leg forwards and one leg back. That's where I want you. So kind of those 90-90 legs. Yeah. And then whichever way your feet are pointing, I want you to try and reach the other way. So we're going to twist. You can place your hand down to give you a bit of stability. And can you reach as far away as you can? Real big twist. And then we're going to come back up. We're going to pivot onto the soles of the feet. Let your knees roll to the other side. And we're going to twist and reach to the other side. When you're ready, come back through. Again, let's go to the other side. Twist and reach as far as you can. And then again to the other side. Let's just do a couple more of these on each side. And then when you're ready, just come back in through centre. Just find a comfortable position here for a moment. We're only going to be here for a moment. We're just going to do some little shoulder rolls in each direction. We're going to do some little head turns. Just making sure we're all nice and easy and relaxed. A little twist. Again, don't overthink it, just move. I'm going to finish off with some little side bends. So just again, just free, gentle, soft, from side to side. Really nice. Last one. And then release your arm down. Give everything a little wiggle. So I hope that was nice. I hope you kind of feel like you've really twisted, you've really worked your abdominals and you've kind of wrung out everything.